You got to talk about it, man. This was bigger than football, man. You know, my voice, I always kind of talk a little low, calm, you know. This was a hit they put on Mr. Deion Sanders. It was a hit job, man. We saw this coming, and I spoke about it last week. The undertones, like for that Oregon coach to be so personal, and we want to run up the score, and we want to, we're not done yet, and he kept himself quiet all week, and then pregame, all of a sudden they in the locker room recording this man's conversation to his team. That's a hit job to me, man. They told that man, listen, you gotta go out there and humiliate this man. It's just my personal opinion. They told him to go out there and humiliate that man. Why? He was getting too much attention. But it's deeper than just him getting all the attention. To me, this is my thoughts and my opinion. Like I said, this was just his job. It was a his job, man. You somehow start to record the pregame speech, and they try to cover it up like, Oregon felt disrespected all week. They're number 10 and they're getting all the attention. No. This is bigger than that. Even when I talked about the undertones last week, that coach, where he gave that speech, you gotta be a crash dummy to not hear those undertones. We're not about the flash. We're not about Hollywood. We're gonna play the game. They're playing for this, and we're playing for wins, and so my thing is, what did Coach Sanders do to these people? All he did was come. He did good in the University of Jackson State. He leaves there. I guess they want him to stay in the black. You stay in the black schools, and you low key. We got the spotlight over here, so don't come over here with that nonsense. That's what they're trying to really say, and that's a part of it. There's other key parts of this. I hope people see what's going on. I spoke about this last week, the undertones. This man, you got them, and sometimes they send your own people to come after you. Like the Jason Whitlocks and, that other coach from last week, put your shades on. Like, what's all this personal shit with this man? Did this man come out and say anything personal about any coach? Did he disrespect college football anyway? He has a way of the way he does things. All he's doing is inspiring these kids to be better. He looked at the school and said, nah, I want to do it this way. They were 11 last year, 1 in 10, whatever the record was. And he came, he's won 3 games, he had them ranked, he brought some attention, and they don't like it. They won't Dabo Swinney down. He had a different approach. I didn't see them work Dabo'd out. It was more about football, or we're SEC and we're like the ACC, but it was more about football. This is personal. That Oregon coach took that game too personal. What did Deion do to him? What did he do? What did he say about that coach? For you to take the game that personal and talk as much as you talked, the pregame and throughout the game, or we're not done yet. Like, you seem to take that game very personal. This wasn't like I could see it. The way they made it seem like is these guys are out here with attitudes. This is how they portrayed the people anyway. We just got attitudes. We like the flash and all this stuff. And we're not gonna tolerate that here. And because you weren't Dabbled out, you weren't Nick Saban out. Now, if he was a coach and I'm not disrespecting these men, I'm just using them as examples, and they're great coaches and stuff like that. But if he was like a Todd Bowles or a Mike Tomlin, guys that just coach football. They don't bring a lot of attention. And even though they're winning, Mike Tomlin's a Super Bowl champion coach. He doesn't garner the attention that Dion was garnering. Prime time, all that stuff. They look at him as a clown. As long as we making money for them, they don't care. But when you threaten their position, that's a big problem. They've been doing that to our people since they've been here. So when I look at these little undertones, they look at kind of one, our people are trendsetters for this country. This country was built on the majority of our backs. And not only that, we are the ones that keep things going here. We're the ones that make things popular. We get in baseball. We do our thing in baseball. We got some of the greatest players ever in baseball. They look at us. Barry Bonds, when he was a cheater with this, he looked like a alleged cheater. We had Ken Griffey Jr., we had Willie Mays, Ricky Henderson. The list goes on and on. Dave Winfield, said Hank Aaron, Derek Jeter, you name it, man. I am a judge, but once brothers stopped showing interest in baseball, that started to fall off. It lost the star power. It lost that number one status it had. Football. You know what I'm saying? We fought hard to get into baseball. We had our own league at one time, so we had to break these barriers. Boxing, same thing. We had to break barriers. Once we got in boxing, look what happened. We got the Joe Lewises, we had the Jack Johnsons, Ali. We made boxing what it was. We the ones that made sure fighters didn't get jerked and all that shit. Same thing in all these sports. Basketball. We the ones that created players' unions and fought for these things like that. Civil rights. Like all of the stuff that we fought to make sure that people were treated fairly, and because we were the ones suffering. Even college football, these players getting paid. They're pissed off about that. They look at, if it wasn't for us, they wouldn't be getting paid still. But because, because we was the poor ones, we were the ones that didn't have money. You didn't see no white kids getting really caught up selling jerseys and sneakers and doing endorsement. They weren't getting caught up like that. We were. The Maurice Claress, the Jalen Roses and them. So we got, so if it wasn't for us, these players wouldn't even get paid because it was unfair. Meanwhile, these universities make billions of dollars off of endorsements, bowl games, conferences and shit like that. Like, they get money, man, and we the slaves. We the ones out here working for free. Our kids out there risking injuries and all this stuff, and all you're getting is a free scholarship. So there's not really free. They're making money off you. So when that got exposed, they didn't like it. When we look at the black quarterback, we had to fight hard to become black quarterback. Now majority of the best quarterbacks in the NFL are black. Pat Mahomes, Joe Burrow's my dude. I love Joe Burrow. But we got Lamar Jackson. The whole style of the quarterback changed. And that was because the game got faster. You can't have stationary quarterbacks who just sit in the pocket. That Tom Brady was the last of the Mohicans. The Drew Breeses and all that. Even Aaron Rodgers, he can move. But we changed the nature of the QBs. So where they start drafting black quarterbacks first and number one and getting high. They didn't, we can't read the playbook. We always been shitted on. We always been put in a situation where we're low and never appeared. So you see a guy like Dion come in the league and in college football, and he was the greatest cornerback ever seen. And he's got the flash, he got his kids, and he's doing too much. The media is what made them hyped up like that. He just had an inspiring story. He's an inspiring person. He turned Jackson State into a winning program, and he came to Colorado, to try to do the same thing, and he's succeeding in that. And because it's inspiring these kids, and they looking at it, and he's doing things his way. Oh, he bringing rappers to the game. He's bringing all these celebrities out and all this stuff, and people are supporting him. Communities come out to support him. That's a problem. Oh, he's recruiting tactics and all that. And the same thing about when Nick Saban was dominating the league for a whole decade, getting all the great players. The SEC wasn't even fair. But as long as we're down here and they're up here, that's all that matters. Even with politics, man. You look at politics, man. They'll give you. See, it's not really about too much money. It is about the money. It's about control. They give you the money. They'll give you some money, but you're gonna follow suit. And as long as you follow suit, you're gonna be alright. They do it in politics, man. They're not gonna let a black man do for his people. They're not gonna let you trying to take care of your blacks. Oh nah, shut him down. They're not doing that. You gonna be the mill. We ain't gonna give nobody no special favors. We vote. They take our votes. They do shit for us. They don't do nothing for us, man. I mean, like, they treat us like we don't even exist once they get the votes. They give you a little bit. Yeah, we'll give you a couple of positions. We'll give you a little bit of money. Just keep dancing for us. Just keep doing what you do. Give you a couple platforms, but you can't say too much. Didn't Malcolm X tell us that about the liberal decades ago? And he spoke about how they try to control you from within. Like, come on, man. This was a hit job they did on that man. You saw it coming. You saw the people on TV, guys flipping on their doctors, guys on Dion'd out. What are you Dion'd out for? It's only been 2-3 weeks. All they're talking about him. It's getting all the headlines and it's taking away the spotlight and the Nick Saban's not doing good. Their team don't look that good.
It's been so soothing for me because at least I can see that she's still there.
Who else don't look good? Clemson don't look too good, so you're not dabbled out anymore. So you don't have a big story to talk about. So as long as the story is about Deion, he's a brother and he has a different approach. He's not following suit where y'all wanted to, and he's being successful. Y'all couldn't wait for him to lose. And the way this guy was trying to humiliate the Colorado Buffalo team, and it was really about Deion Sanders. I want to humiliate him. It's all his undertone, man. So we gotta know, as people, they never want us to really be equal. Yet they'll marvel at our talents and things like that. They wanna, do things, like how we do it. We set the trends. We spend all the money. Yeah, we spend all the money. We get our money and spend that shit up and never invest in ourselves. But the minute we try to do anything for ourselves, they try to shut us down. Black Wall Street, countless other cities that they, in towns and communities they destroy where blacks have. I don't hate you want to use the word black, but the people of our complexion have thrived, that they've destroyed. You know what I'm saying? Like, white, when they use the word white, was white even a race before? Or is it some type of class? And did they turn it into a race later on? Because I remember reading about Irish slaves and the harsh conditions they endured, and the Italian people, the way they treated some of these people. And I remember reading that people were called upon by their tribes, not their race. called by tribes or whatever country they were from. But you know, somehow in America we became about race because it's really about power and control. As long as they're here and we're here, they're cool with that. They'll let a few of us get some levels up, even with the money. Look at the money. How many billionaires is black? How many billionaires? Look how far we got to catch up to get to these people. As long as we're here and they're here, it's all that matters. Once you start to threaten to get to here, they're gonna shut it down. Look how many black owners own sports teams. You probably count in your hand. You know what I'm saying? How many? Look how hard it is for blacks to become coaches in football, because basketball, you know, is more of an urban sport. They don't mind, you know, because they're gonna still make money off of it. They see, we can make money off these guys. We'll let them become coaches. We're making so much money, it doesn't really matter. Football, it's the same kind of the same, but they like the good old, those owners and that league, they're not letting no black people own no team like that. They're not gonna level that playing field because they look at that as being a threat. And Dion, he was a threat, so he had to be taken out. So they did their best today to humiliate him. You know what I mean? Like, it's just disgusting, man. Like, you win the game, make it about the game. The way he sounded so personal. I'm listening and I'm watching the game as I'm working, and I'm like, damn, man, this just sounds so personal. Why is it so personal? What did this man do to these people that is that personal? People, give me your thoughts, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's me. You know, I got so many different nationality of friends, man. It's really hurtful to you know, I see the undertones, and you know, I got love for all people, man. Asian, black, white, you know, Latinos. You know, I love all the people, man. Foreigners, you know, but the immigration thing is out of control. It's gonna destroy. It's gonna destroy a lot of big cities. And the sad thing is, these are mostly Democratic cities. Now, I hate politics and all that stuff, but at the same time, it's like, come on. How you taking care? Are you gonna let somebody just move into your house? I would ask these politicians, let somebody that's strange, a stranger, just come into your house and see how you like it. That you're putting them in people's cities and people's neighborhoods. Some of these dudes out here robbing people, man. A lot of them, again, you're not even vetting them. And they get the money, they get to stay in hotels, they get to get here, you know, and some of our people that did it the right way had to go through all kind of changes to get in this country. But because they want people to vote for them and they want support and it's about power, yeah, let them in. We'll give them a job. They're going to work for cheap labor and they'll vote for us because we let them in the country, and we'll have them, you know, we'll figure out a way to get them to vote and their vote counts. It's about power, man. This shit is sad, man. But meanwhile, you know, your people, you got homeless people out here, poor construction, landlords taking advantage of tenants, a lot of people living in poor conditions, a lot of underpaying jobs, a lot of inflation going on, and you're doing nothing to help the people. When it was a pandemic, you crying about giving us the money, but you're not crying about sending the money to Russia, to Ukraine. You're not crying about giving these migrants money. Hawaii had a nasty hurricane, whatever, hit Miami, or the wildfire that hit Hawaii. Over there, what you do for those people over there? You give them $700? So you get those people. Where's their funding? You know, come on, man. Like, you gotta look at the undertones. Today was bigger than just prime. It was the undertones. It was a stay in your place ninja. Man, when it comes to coaching, when it comes to these type of certain lanes, they can't afford to lose those lanes, like college football. I mean, like, we gotta have some type of control. You gave you basketball, even though they still control basketball. They gave you basketball. You got your coaches, you got your star players. Most of these guys, now they want to get rid of us. So they start bringing Europeans over. They're trying to make the game global because it's about money. So it's just a lot of our players now, we don't play fundamental basketball. They just running and shooting. Guys don't really use fundamentals as much as they used to. Which is taken away from their games because they're not really developing. So when they age and they become useless players, only a certain amount of our players have skill sets, but they can continue to thrive, late in their careers. The majority of players, they're not going to have those skill sets. Like I said, that was a hit job, man. That was disgusting, man. Your thoughts, man. I'm gonna get back at y'all after I grub out, man. I'm gonna get the foot up. All right, one.